Oh, thank you. Good morning, Nancy. Nancy in the house. I love it.
See you in the
Hey,
house.
Nancy.
Hi,
Good
Nancy.
morning, everyone. Hey, Shelly.
Hello, everyone.
Hi. I was like, oh, Nancy's here. Hey,
Shelly.
Shelly.
Hey, Shelly.
Hello.
Michelle. We'll give it just another minute or so. We said 2 seconds before we came in, we're missing the music. We need music right now.
We can
Next
Missing
sing.
time.
music. Funny, funny, funny.
Yeah.
What Michelle do we have here today? Michelle who? I'm so curious. And then AGM, I'm so curious. Go ahead and put it in chat if you guys don't want to come off video, although we would love to see your beautiful faces.
I wanted to stay in.
Where's Stephanie? Stephanie's coming back in.
Mm.
Hey, Michelle.
Hello.
How are you? Nice
I'm
to
good.
see you.
When you
Good. Oh, it's all good. It's all good. All right, we're gonna let Deanne come in. Hey, Stephanie. Good morning, those of you just coming in. Hey, Dan. Deanne in the house.
Yeah, I'm on vacation.
Nice, nice, nice. I am too. I'm in Florida right now. So
Oh yeah.
yeah,
And you get to be by your daughter, and I'm in Phoenix by mine.
isn't that amazing? So amazing. So amazing. I love that she moved to Florida. I was like, there's a lot of places you could have moved, and I'm really happy it was there.
Yeah, that's how I feel about Arizona. I'm like really happy it's here. It's 95, gonna be 95 today. It's wonderful.
I hear it's, yeah, and it's supposed to be nice back home too. So it's nice. I
Yeah.
think spring is here, everyone. Spring is here. Good morning, Jamie.
Yes.
We'll go ahead and get started. It's a couple minutes after. We have Chantelle is here today. So first of all, look at her. She's like, first of all, I want to welcome everyone for coming. When we kind of sat back and thought, what do we really want to offer as we go on with Burnout to Bliss, and what does that look like? And it's really just offering safe space, safe, quiet space to come and hear a message and get rejuvenated, have some lunch, and then go back off onto our day. And so we'll talk about the reset piece of it at the end. But I am really, really excited. Let's just get this show on the road. I'm really, really excited to bring Chantelle to the stage. Chantelle, I've worked with Chantelle now for about a year or so. Well, actually, it's been a little over 6 months, but I feel like I've known Chantelle my whole life. Chantelle is a gentle soul. She's a powerhouse. She has so much to offer and so much to share. So without further ado, I'm just going to go ahead and hand it over to you, Chantelle, to talk about the art of choosing.
Thank you. Thank you for fluffing my aura. I really enjoyed that. But yes, thank you, Tina. Thank you for the opportunity, and for all of you as well. And yes, the art of choosing. I'm going to be like completely transparent. That's ChatGPT that came up with that, and I just loved it. So I thought, you know what, why not? Because I love the subject. I love the subject of choice. And I thought I would start by sharing with you why it is that I really love this subject. And has any of you ever felt like you have no choice? You're in a situation where you have no choice. For me, it's like I feel like I don't have power. When I don't have choice, I don't have power. And if I'm honest with myself, for the majority of my adult life, 20 plus years, I was really committed to the story of I don't have choice. Like everything's happening to me. I don't have choice. I don't have power. Life's happening, and I just get to roll with the punches. Until I came on this beautiful journey where I met so many of you and started this journey of personal development. And so at one point, and I get to be a little bit cautious not to give it away, but at some point during the journey, the trainer invited us to look at the stuff that's happened in our life from the viewpoint of gratitude. And like, why is even the bad things that happen to us good? And I lost my fucking mind, sorry. I was like, are you kidding me? Like, does this woman know the shit that I've gone through? I'm sorry, I have a potty mouth. I will rein it in. But does she even realize the stuff that I've gone through? Like, how can anyone ask me to look at it through gratitude and to be thankful for it and think how good it is? And it took a while, like somewhere down the journey of this program that we were doing, I got there. I got to the point where I was willing to choose to look at it from a point of gratitude and from why is it good? How is it, not why is it good, but how is it a good thing that happened? And I was able to do that. And it was a choice. I got to make a choice. Like, I'm willing to look at this from a point of being empowered by it rather than being a victim to it. And it made the world of difference to me. Like, up until then, I had experiences, like traumatic experiences growing up. I had my fair share of them, but there were some things that sort of like stuck there. And I would be reminded for like literally 20 years. Every once in a while, it would pop up and it'd be like, just to remind you that actually you don't have power. You don't have power in life. And it was like crippling. Like whenever that happened, it would take me out. And it's the stupidest things that would remind me of it. But since that moment where I made the choice that I was going to be empowered by this and that I'm grateful for those experiences, that doesn't happen anymore. I'm like, now those experiences are like, it's a tool in my toolbox that I can take out and go and empathize with someone and go, you know what? Yeah, I know what you mean. I've had that experience as well. And we get to, how do we move past this? How do we be empowered by it? So that is why I love the subject. And it is my firm belief that we have choice in everything. Every moment, everything, we have a choice. And we get to, and before we even make a choice, the choice is, are we going to be a victim to our circumstances or are we going to be empowered by it? But regardless, we have a choice. And so I'm curious to hear from you what comes up for you when I say that. When I say that you have a choice in everything, how does that make you feel? Are you a yes or are you a what is she smoking? Nancy?
I am a yes. Before I was not, before I was a victim, but after working on leadership trainings, and I am definitely a yes. We all have a choice. And whatever we choose is determining our life.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Anyone who feels differently, who still feels like there are some situations in life where we just don't have a choice? Oh, I'm really glad to see that.
Chantelle,
Awesome.
it's such a great question because it's like we know that there's a choice, but sometimes it's easy to take the choice that we know is not the right choice. Does that make sense? Right?
Yeah.
So it's about that discipline to actually follow the choice you're supposed to make versus do I go this other direction?
Yeah, absolutely.
So it makes sense, but yet it's not always easy to implement.
I've got a friend.
What
Sorry,
comes for me, like on the no choice, like I'll think of things that, well, no, I have to pay my taxes, or no, I have to, and I think of opportunities where I feel like, or in the past, I would have felt like I had no choice. And then I still see the possibility in, and I get to create something around that and create something different to, so that it inside of that choice, it looks differently. I moved to Maui in the middle of the pandemic when we couldn't travel and all that, and I created that. So it was like, yeah, I have no choice, because that's what I first started saying. No, I can't go anywhere. I can't do that. We can't travel. And I was still able to create something within that and stay safe and all that other good stuff.
What you remind me of is, like, many of you know the saying 100% possible 100% of the time. And it reminds me of, I once had this conversation with my husband, and he was like, no, that saying just doesn't work. Because what if I'm waking up at 4 a.m. in the morning, I want a steak, I don't have a steak in the house, the shops are closed, it's just not possible for me to have a steak at 4 a.m. in the morning. And I said to him, well, you could go to the neighbor's house, you could go wake up the neighbor and ask them for a steak, and someone might have it. They'd be really pissed at you. But the option is still there. And I feel like it's the same with when you were saying taxes. Like, you have the choice, don't pay your taxes. The thing is, you're going to have to face the consequences. You're going to have to be willing to pay those prices. But you kind of still have a choice. Or Yeah. Anyway, did you want to say something, Tina?
Yeah, what it does is it opens up this whole dialogue of what do I really want to create in my life, right? And knowing what that, like, being intentional about the choice versus just being sleeping to and pretending not to know about the choice.
Yes. Yeah.
Yes.
Absolutely.
What I'm hearing is creativity in the possibilities, and it's the intention of how bad do you want it, right? If you really want that steak, you are going to get creative, and you're going to be willing to pay whatever prices of pissing people off or waking up at, I don't know, 2 a.m. to make the steak or whatever. You'll move heaven and earth to create that steak or whatever it is. So it's how bad do you want it?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And I think too, it's like, we used to always say like, I have to, right? I get to, and really, I think the next level is I choose to. I mean, I get to do that, but I get to because I'm choosing to. So I just created a journal, and that's what's on the front cover. It's like a line through I have to, right? Because no, I don't have to, right? I get to, but ultimately I choose to, and that just totally changes your perspective, right?
Absolutely. Oh, I love that. Yeah, absolutely. While I was like preparing for this, I got curious about, well, like, what's the difference between a choice and a decision? And there isn't really, I read a lot of stuff. What I came to was like my conclusion of what it is choice is based on freedom. You have the freedom to choose whatever it is. And decision is more based on judgment. You have to take in external factors. And in the workbook, there's a whole page full of it. But it basically comes down to choices about freedom, and decision is about judgment. So there is going to be moments in life where we have to make a decision. We have to make a quick decision. And maybe in that moment, we feel like we don't have a choice. Like if you're in a dangerous situation, you're going to have to make a decision to get you whatever it is that gets you out of that situation as quickly as possible and as safely as possible, or whatever. But at the end of it, you still have a choice about how you feel about that. Like, how are you going to be about it? How are you going to let that situation affect you? How is it going to affect your being? And that's where our choice lies. That's where our power lies. For me, choice is like a synonym for power. I love it. Anyway, okay. So I have a couple of, I'm gonna read them. I should have copied and pasted them for you, but anyway, they are in the workbook on page 3. A couple of inspirational quotes. So the first one is from John C. Maxwell, and it says, life is a matter of choices, and every choice you make makes you. And then there's one from Graham Brown, which says, life is about choices. Some we regret, some we are proud of, some will haunt us forever. The message, we are what we choose to be. And the last one is from Neil Peart, which says, if you choose not to decide, you have still made a choice. What do you hear from that?
You always have a choice. You're always making a decision.
Yeah.
I typed in the chat is the stories we tell ourselves. So it's about the perspective that we take, back to your comment about gratitude. Yeah, I can choose to pay taxes, and I'm grateful for the things that those taxes afford me and others. I'm grateful to have the money to pay those taxes. I'm grateful for, and I can begin to, becomes a matter of perspective.
Absolutely.
Or I can tell myself, how dare they, those money grubbing bad IRS conspiracy people, right? So again, it's back to story.
Yeah.
And for me, Chantelle, it's back to creating our reality, right? Like I have a choice of how to spend my time and energy, and I can spend it in being ticked off because I got to pay these taxes, like, and being in that energy, or I can be exactly where Shelley was talking about. I can be in this energy of, I don't like it, but I get to choose to do it. And here's what I'm grateful for about it.
Yeah.
And I think it's freedom. Like, I love that you said choice is freedom, because even when I make the choice to not make a choice, I'm still making a choice. That's not freedom. That's being
Yeah.
blind and pretending not to know and all the other stuff and not being intentional about it. So yeah, that's brilliant.
Absolutely. Yeah. Just going back to those quotes, like, we are our choices. Our life is our choice, or our current reality is the result of the choices we've made. So when we look at our, like, the bigger burnout to bliss, like, if we are in burnout, that is a result of the choices we've been making. So what is some examples of choices that we make that leads to burnout and leads to overwhelm?
Oh, pick me.
Oh,
I know all about this.
that's Sharon. Oh, I love you, Sharon.
Oh, hello, darling. So some of the choices we make are people pleasing, not choosing to have boundaries, self-sacrificing. Yeah, having boundaries, blurring them, not having them, and not using our voice.
Yeah.
So not saying yes when we mean yes and no when we mean no. And so just absorbing, I would also say reacting rather than responding. So reacting to what's going on around us, and then we're choosing not to choose.
Absolutely.
So we end up overwhelmed then because we're reacting to our environment or the people around us, and self-sacrificing. Yeah. So that's what I would say, definitely.
Thank you. That reminds me, and I'm pretty sure, Sharon, it's you that shared this with me. It's like, when I'm feeling resentment, it's because a boundary's been
gone too far.
Crossed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had this in one of my workshops. The lady asked me this. I was talking about strengths and values, and when we lean too far into our strengths. So if we're very capable and competent, and we're able to achieve things faster than perhaps other people in our circle, and we constantly say no, how does that feel? Because she was like, how do you know if you've gone too far? And I was like, so, what will people say about you? You're helpful, you're kind. For example, that's what the lady said. And I said, do you ever feel like resentful or peed off? And she's like, yeah. And I was like, gone too far, no boundaries. So you're great, but you're being validated for being great. So there's that loop as well. But yeah, that's one of my faves, because when I learned it, it was mind blowing for me that our strengths can, without a boundary, without a choice, can also lead to burnout and overwhelm. So yeah, one of my faves, Chantelle. You're right.
Yeah, no, that landed really hard for me, because I love feeling resentful. Like, I will help you until I'm blue in the face, and then I'm going to feel resentful about that. So thank you, Sharon. That really landed for me. That one.
Anyone
Anything
else?
Yeah. Jenny?
Yeah, I people in my team too, like, they have a way of saying no. I just have to figure that out. Because I love helping people. If I could do that all day long, that's what I would do for a living, if I could just help people. But you get to a point where you're just setting yourself up to fail. And that's worse, right? Like, you can help, but then, like, if you're not taking care of yourself, it's not going to help anybody in the long run. And asking for help is not a negative thing. And I've gotten better at that. Like, when I get to a low and overwhelmed and burning out, I just came back from a vacation. Didn't go anywhere warm or anything to that effect, but it was away from work. I took a break, and now I'm like back, and I feel a little bit more refreshed. Whereas, like, that day could not come fast enough for me to like drop my stuff and be like, I need a breather. I need to step away. The company will still be going and working, even if I'm gone for 4 or 5 days. Like, just having that in the back of your mind, I think, helps. And yes, Tina, PB&J, pause, breathe, enjoy.
I can't even tell you how much I love that you remembered that right now.
Oh, I love it. I love it.
Do you want to share that, Tina? Because there's a couple who's not heard it.
Yeah, no, that's totally fine, Jenny. I love it. So PB&J is something that I use on an ongoing basis because I'm a reactor, right? I'm like high energy and I'm a reactor, and I'll match your energy. And sometimes I leave a path of destruction in doing that. And so PBJ is just a tool that uses me. It's pause, breathe, and choose joy, right? So when I'm feeling it, when I'm like in it, when I'm trying to I want to make a decision, but I really want to take, the decision of eating the Cheetos on the couch instead of working out kind of thing, because it's easier, because it feels better, all that stuff. It's like, okay, pause, just pause right now and take a big deep breath. And I mean, even just in like pausing and taking a big deep breath, it resets me. It brings me back to like, you know, like present. It brings me back to present, and it makes me feel better. And in that breath, like as I'm breathing, I'm saying to myself, okay, what's the right choice here? What are you going to choose? And it's choose joy. Okay, now what does choose joy mean? What's the next right thing I get to do or be, or decision I get to make to actually move in the direction of joy versus moving in the direction of suffering? Because suffering is a choice, just like joy is a choice. So yeah.
Oh, I love
PBJ.
that. I'm pretty sure, like with the last one, I was making notes that you said something and then I lost my notes. But I'm pretty sure it was suffering is a choice. Suffering is a choice. Yeah. That's like quite deep though. Suffering is a choice. So
Chantelle, you were asking
yes.
about what choices, if we're in burnout, what choices have we made? And when I think back to when I was when I'm anxious or I'm worried, a choice that I have been known to make is I want to be right about I can't control this circumstance and this is happening to me and there's nothing I can do about it. You know, because there's sometimes when people, well, no, you can, no, you don't understand. You don't understand this and this and this, and they won't, and it can't be. And I want to it's almost like I want to sit in it.
Because it's comfortable.
Which is the next thing we could talk about, sitting in a shitty diaper, but I'll wait for that.
Yeah, thank you. And so what is the feelings when we make these choices, these wrong choices? I'm going to call them wrong choices just for the sake of it. But when we make these choices, what's the feelings that come up? I mean, for me, like Sharon said, like resentment. Like I can be really resentful if I want to. If I choose it, I can be really resentful. What else is like, what other feelings come up for us?
Self-beat up.
Anger.
Yes.
Self-judgment.
Frustration.
Definite victim.
Yes.
Yeah, I knew they wouldn't help me.
That's right.
Desperation. Like, yep. See, I don't even know why I even bother. There's a desperation. Like, just not even.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. And what are the prices we pay? Like, what are the consequences? Because at the end of the day, every choice has a consequence. It might be good, it might be bad. But when we make bad choices, like, what's the consequences?
No, we pay from our joy. We don't get to stay in our joy.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And again, all these feelings of resentment and anger. And let's put it this way, what is the prices if you have a family, for example, if you have kids, what's the prices they pay for you making shitty decisions?
They're not getting the best version of us.
Yeah.
So true, Nancy. That's where I was going to go. I mean, I talk a lot about, I used to pretend that I yelled at my kids, like, and I was a jerk to my husband, right? And it was because I was burned. It was because all this other stuff was going on, and they become like this easy target to let it out because, you know, all this stuff is coming at us. And if we don't have a way to release it and let it go, it builds up in us. And then that's where those emotional reactions come from. So, yeah, I was pretending not to know that forever. It was definitely an impact.
Yeah.
Plus, I think it's very.
Okay, Sharon, you go.
I think it's very disempowering for the people around you as well. So when Jenny was talking about help, I heard enable, you know, because you're holding people small and you're just enabling them to stay stuck. So yeah, it's that as well. You're holding them small. You're not giving them room to breathe or to even to try and fail. Try and learn. Let's say try and learn, you know. So if you're the one always like, I'm the only one can do it. Oh, it's quicker if I do it myself. Oh, I knew no one, as Rima said, oh, sure, I knew nobody would help me. We get to be right. And everyone around us gets to be disempowered.
Yeah. Stephanie, did you want to share?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, I was just going to say some of mine circle around with feeling guilt. Okay, I have to go back to me and base myself in a good place before I can react. But then that's selfish. So then I go back to the bad place and I bounce back and forth. And I have 2 grown daughters, I should basically say, and feel like, what am I showing them?
Mm.
You know, how am I empowering them by not being the best me?
Yeah, absolutely.
Then it rolls back into the self-guilt. I mean, it's just a bad cycle.
Yeah, and I think as mothers, that guilt is so like, I was just talking to someone today, to Stephanie, for those of you who know about the mommy guilt, and it's there and it's real. Sorry, Nancy, did you have anything else?
No, I'm good.
Okay.
Chantelle, I was going to say this probably been said in a number of different ways, but when I go there, I'm actually inviting other people to meet me there. So it's like a domino effect.
Yeah.
Right. So, I mean, then I'm calling them into their lesser. I'm not just holding them small. I'm actually like inviting, magnetizing that. So,
yeah.
You
And
know,
for those
and
of, sorry, Rima, you go.
to build on what Shelley was saying, when we go there, we invite others to be there. We're lending to that collective on the planet as well. So we're not creating love and joy and peace on the planet. We're creating something else. And so when we talk about the bigger picture of, you know, how do we attract war, and how did we create the pandemic, and how do, you know, if we step into bigger questions like that, if you're warring with the people in your life, then yes, you're adding to the war energy in the world. So then yes, you are responsible, you are stepping into that, and that's what you are creating in the world. So we get to, you know, look at the bigger picture of what is it that we are creating in the world, as we sit and we listen to news and we're like, oh my gosh, we're going to hell in a handbasket, and what's wrong with people, and you know, and we get to see where in our lives are we contributing to that,
Yeah.
you know, by how we're showing up.
Yeah, that's spot on, because yeah, I mean, choice is like, it's level 4 responsibility, because I'm creating what I'm choosing. My choices create my reality. Absolutely. And what are the obstacles? So what's the obstacles that gets in the way of making good choices? Great choices, empowered choices, like choices that light you up. What's the obstacles that get in the way?
Sometimes for me is like confidence. Like I need to have more confidence to be like, I'm confident they can go to someone else, they can ask for more help, you know, like, and just having that confidence, I think, builds you stronger to be able to say no, or not at this time, or, you know.
Yeah. Anything else?
People pleasing.
Yeah, I've got it on page 8 in the workbook. There's a list of some, and I feel like we've very much sort of covered a lot of them, but I'll go through them really quickly. Like, one is the fear of failure. Like when we've got choices to make, like, whew, it's scary, the idea. And something that I've realized recently is it's more for me, my personal, it's the fear of success. Like, what if I go out and I smash it and I can't handle that success? Another one is lack of self-awareness, like not knowing our own heart, like not knowing our values, not being connected with what it is that we really want, what it is that we really stand for, what is the stuff that lights us up, and what is our red line, what is that line with boundaries where we go, if I cross this, then I'm going into a dangerous place. External pressures and expectations, the people pleasing, people around us, being afraid of what people will think, what people will do, like, you know, family. That's a big one. I don't know about you guys. For me, that's a big one. It's like family. Like, a lot of my family think like, you are cuckoo for whatever it is that this path that you are down. And it sucks sometimes, you know, it really sucks. And we still get to do it. Tina.
Yeah, I just laugh at you because, you know, I have that family as well. And I mean, I think as I get stronger in my own self, in my own transformation, in my own being and who I am, and as I practice, right, the leadership tech, stuff, they come with, right? So in the
Yes.
beginning, it was so difficult. They were like, you are from Mars. Who are you? Just shut up, go sit down. You're too sensitive. You're too emotional, like all the stuff.
Yeah.
And it would shut me down. Like it would literally shut me down, sometimes for years. And so as I became stronger in my own being and in my own confidence, like Jenny said, and just really like, no, this is what I am. This is who I get to be, and just practice standing in that, it comes easy. And family is like, we can choose who we want to hang out with. Can't always choose our family. Right. And so
Yeah.
family, even though they're the biggest like obstacle, when you take that on, you begin generational healing. So I want to say that again. When you take that on, because I ran from it for a long time, where I was like, oh, you don't understand me, I'm out. I'm just going to go away and I'm not even going to talk to you because you don't understand me. But then when I started stepping into that, it started creating generational healing and generational shifts. So that's how powerful this work is. So I just wanted to that, Chantelle.
Oh, no, absolutely. I've got Sharon, you go.
Sorry, just something popped into my head. Mel Robbins spoke about this on podcast. We are uncomfortable with other people's discomfort.
Yeah.
And we don't hold the space for them to be uncomfortable. So we make, and I have exactly this in my life at the moment, Tina, as I'm in leadership and moving forward, everybody's uncomfortable around me. Like, what's with her, and so we get sucked back in, we go back into the drift because we're like, everybody's over there and we're out here on our own and, everybody's over there. But we don't allow the space. We don't practice with the muscle and go, I'm pushing a little bit. And people get used to it. But we're so uncomfortable with other people being in that space of discomfort with our choices. And she spoke into, it's okay if they're disappointed. It's okay if they're upset. But are we willing to, I would have said I betrayed myself a lot in the past because I wasn't willing for other people to be in discomfort. And I thought she maybe it was the day I heard it, but I thought she positioned it really well, that we don't allow other people their discomfort or we don't allow them to be upset with us or annoyed with us. And we don't trust that. So we kind of jump back in and create suffering, choose suffering for ourselves, Chantelle. So that just came into my mind as you're talking about that. And I was like, that is so powerful, because we get sucked back into drift because we're like, oh, this is so hard. And we think there's only, we forget the both and. We think there's only this or this, and we forget that we're stepping into something new. So yeah, I thought that landed really well with me. Yeah.
Yeah.
You get to choose.
Sorry, Shelley, I'm going to be with you in a second. It reminds me of like a couple of weeks ago, I organized a Zoom call with my family. Like half my family is in South Africa. My sister and I are here in the UK. And so we had this call and I was on time, obviously. And my brother was on time, obviously. He is me. So for those of you who know me, I don't say a lot. And he's like me times 100. And so we sat there and it was really uncomfortable. And like after like a minute or two, like we had sort of exhausted the chit chat. And we just sat there for 10 minutes waiting for everyone else to show up because everyone was late. And you know what? It was okay. I got to just sit there in the uncomfortableness of it and be okay with it. And I kind of, it became a fun after a little while, like kind of like watching him, seeing him, like, how uncomfortable he was sitting there. So, but anyway, that's another story. Shelley, I digress. What did you want to share?
Oh, it was about the discomfort, but it's really, as long as we are not being like evil bitches, somebody else's discomfort is theirs. And so if we lean into people pleasing, like we could do cartwheels, back bends, anything you want, and still that person can be uncomfortable. So we get to be in a space where, what's the whole thing? Take it all as neutral, but it gets to be there. And just like the whole thing of, somebody else's opinion of me is none of my business. But that is something that we get to grow into ourselves. Because to even be in difficult conversations about politics, religion, race, you pick it, how to just to be present to another person without feeling like, oh, I had back into the respond and react, right? So there's all these places where we get to be really present, and to your point, choose to just allow it.
Yeah.
Without judgment.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Who's keeping time? Am I on time?
You're totally on time. You're all good.
Okay.
There is no time.
You're gonna say that until 2 minutes before.
Time is
and then you're
illusion.
gonna be like,
Up
listen,
until
I like time. I am time. Okay, so listen.
Oh, can I add one of the obstacles?
Yes.
Are you still going through the
I have a couple more, but go for it.
The obstacles, what gets in our way? In my line of work and what I do and I coach, what I see that gets in our way is not knowing our value and our worth, and not realizing that we matter. So like when we talk about, like, and Tina, you spurred it on when you talked about generational healing, because it's in our families, it's easy to be like, oh, they don't understand me, I don't want to talk to them, I don't want to deal with that, and we move away from it. But to stand and stand for them, and in the uncomfortableness, we get to see we matter. It matters that we stay, and we stay in our power, and we stay in our all of our gloriousness and things like that. It matters. We matter. And so that's an obstacle when we don't believe that we can make a difference, when we don't believe that we matter, when we don't believe our value, or that we're worthy, or, oh, it's everybody else but me. Everyone's powerful but me. That was my story for the longest. Oh, no. When people saw my power, I'm like, oh, they don't know me. I don't know what they're talking about. They don't know me. So
I love that, Reba, and it goes perfectly into the next one, which is past traumas and limiting beliefs, the stories we tell ourselves, the experiences we have, and not being willing to be bigger than our circumstances, to be bigger than the experiences we've had. Another one, emotional imbalance, letting fear and anger, those things make us make impulsive decisions, not even choices. We're going to decisions because we are scared, and we feel like we have to be safe. A big one for me, and we've covered it, our comfort zone. That is a big, because it's, and Tina, if you want to go to your shitty diaper, sometimes that shitty diaper is comfortable. It's comfortable.
Warm
Nice
and
to sit
cozy.
there. Yeah, exactly. And then the last one I've got on here, and there's many, and so we've discussed, is a lack of clear goals and vision. A lack of vision. Everything starts with vision. And if we don't have a vision, if we don't have clear goals, we don't know what we are working towards. And then we make random, aimless, haphazard decisions or choices because we don't know where we're going. Okay. Does that land? Does that feel like you can go, yes, I understand. That's me.
Chantelle, I have a question. What if I'm listening to you, and I'm listening to you say, like, it's all about vision, it's all about clarity, but I don't know what that means.
Just like me.
Right. I know, because I think here's what I think happens. I think sometimes it's like, oh my God, I have to have this big old vision, like saving 1 million people, or no. What if your vision is, I want to lose 5 pounds? What if your vision is, I want to create a better relationship with my husband? What if your vision is, like your vision is just what your goal, it's whatever that you actually want. And there's no right or wrong. It's just about being clear on what you want to create.
Yeah, 100%. Absolutely. Yeah. And I like for a very long time, I was like, what is this vision everyone's talking about? And I feel like for myself, how it works is I go like steps, like, what's my vision for this week? What's my vision for this year? I have my vision board up here. Like, that's my vision for this year. And that's okay. Yes, I think sometimes about the future and like maybe in 5 years' time, but let it be easy. Like, your vision can be whatever it is. It's a goal. If the word vision doesn't land, it's a goal. Like, what do you want to create? Nancy, did you want to share something?
Yeah, I know with Brene Brown, like she leads with values. It's like, sometimes how can you have a clear vision if you don't even have a clear vision on your own values? And that's where that really came up for me was Yeah, I had to agree. Brene Brown for president. Totally agree. But it's like I was reading that book, Dare to Lead. I did not realize like values. And I'll have to tell you, before I read that book, I can't even say that I was really clear on my own values. So it's like, how can I really set a clear vision if I wasn't clear on my own values? So I think values really helps with you setting a clear vision.
Yeah. Thank you, Nancy. Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. Okay, now that we've gone through the obstacles and the things that's not working, and I hear Denise in my head going, you should have started with the stuff that works. But anyway, let's look at the stuff that does work. Like, let's look, how do we create really great choices? How do we make empowered choices in our life? And I've got a couple of more quotes, which is on page 10. I just love, like, there's so many good quotes. One is, may your choices reflect your hopes, not your fears, from Nelson Mandela. And no matter the situation, remind yourself, I have a choice, from Deepak Chopra. And then this one I really love. Your life is the result of the choices you made. If you don't like your life, start making better choices. Like, that's it. Start making better choices, and you'll be amazed how things change. Like, how many things can change just because you decide to make a better choice. And I'm going to go back, because I really believe this. Like I said, before you even make your choices, like, make the choice, am I going to be a victim in the situation, or am I going to be empowered? Because that will change the choice as well. Like, because if you decided, like, no matter what, I'm going to be empowered in this situation, then anything is possible. If you're going to be a victim and committed to being a victim, good luck. It's going to be really, really hard and really, really difficult decisions. So, okay, what are some really amazing choices that you've made in your life? Who wants to share some really awesome choices that you've made in your life? That leads to bliss. Now we get to the bliss bit.
I'd like to jump in and share one. And this was a recent one, fairly small. And so I just went through this move. And Friday was March 31st, and I got to be out of my old place by Friday, March 31st. I woke up Friday morning, March 31st, without a new place to live, by the way. And I hadn't like packed. I mean, I put some stuff in boxes, but I hadn't really packed. So I woke up Friday morning and my whole body is shaking. I am shaking. I've got those, but those butterflies in your stomach. I'm shaking. I can feel that I'm going to go into like panic mode. I feel it. And I'm laying in bed, and I remember Tony Robbins, and Tony Robbins says that fight or flight feeling that you get, it is your interpretation, because it's either excitement or it's anxiety, but you get to decide what it is. And it's so funny, because like, I'm so grateful that for all the work that I've done, that I could remember that in the middle of all of that. Because that was I'm literally, my heart's beating, my palms are sweaty, arms, I'm trying that Eminem song. So that's where I am Friday morning as I wake up. And then I tell myself, I make a decision. This is a big day for me. My body is getting ready. It's not a panic day. It's not a stress day. I'm going to step into trust. It's going to all work out. It always does, every time. These are the things that I decided, and I told myself, and I stepped into. And it was the best day. The exact place I wanted came through. The people that I needed came through. The timing, it was easy. It was quick. I had a woman that called me. I didn't even know her. My business partner said, oh, by the way, this lady wants to teach at our studio. You get together. I had texted her the day before and said, I'm moving. Let's get together on Monday. She called me up and said, where aren't you in Kihei? I'm 10 minutes from your house. Can I come and help you? Never met her, never even had a conversation. She came, and I'm like, I want to say no, but I'm going to say yes. like all sorts of things started opening up and happening for me that day because of the decision I made that morning in the midst of, oh my God, oh, I'm getting goosebumps because I want to cry because the way I felt that morning, I wanted to cry. I felt like, oh, it would have been so easy for me to go to, I give up. I give up. I can't do this. I don't have, this is, oh my God. And I chose something else. And I'm pretty excited about that.
And how does it make you feel, Rima? Like what are you experiencing?
Oh my gosh, it powerful. I feel proud of myself. I do mirror work. I don't know if you guys do mirror work, but if you do mirror work, do mirror work. If you don't do mirror work, do some mirror work. But I got in the mirror and I'm like, you are a fucking badass, like
Yes, you are.
You did this. You did this in the middle of fear, in the middle of like, it could have gone a whole different way. You created this. Look what you can do. So it gives me access to the power that I never thought I had. Like saying I'm powerful. It gave me access to that. Like, yeah, you are powerful. Yes, you make stuff happen. Absolutely. And it helps with the credibility of when I step into, because stuff will happen, life happens, right? So I'll get into something else in the future where I'm in that place.
Yeah.
And I'll have this to be able to like, no, remember, you get to create your circumstances.
Yeah. And so Lynn, I'm going to stick with you, Rima. What are the tools that you use? Like whatever you want to call them, tools that to make that decision. Like, what was the thing?
Everything.
Yeah.
I pulled out every tool in the box. I stepped into declaring without evidence because literally had no evidence. I'm declaring. I stepped into choice. I love that this is the art of choosing. I could have chosen to step into fear and anxiety, and I chose to step into trust, courage, confidence, right? I stepped into being empowered, inspirational. There's other people that are looking at me. There's people looking at you. How can you support them when they step into this? How do you support them? Well, I get to live it. I get to embody it. I teach it. I talk about it all the time. I brag about leadership to all my non-leadership friends because I'm enrolled, so they're all looking at me like, and I get to, and not from an ego standpoint where, oh my gosh, but like, okay, they're seeing me and this is a panic moment and they're seeing me step into and choose something different. Leaders are risk take. I mean, like, right, I can go down the risk takers. We go first, I stepped into my yogi calming down and grounding, right? And when I'm in panic mode and I'm in anxiety mode, I can't think straight. I make choices from that place. And those choices don't necessarily pan out and serve me long term. So it's like, okay, take a breath, PBJ, take a breath. And what if this were fun? What would it look like if it were fun? Well, if it were fun, I'd know where I'm going. And I don't know that yet. And
uncertainty can be fun as well.
Yes.
Yeah, no, it can be
still
fun.
be fun. Yeah. And I thought about like even telling the story. I even thought about that morning. I'm like, you're going to tell the story and it's going to come out and people are going to be like, wow, how'd you do that? They're not going to know that you're laying here like can't move, heart beating out of your chest. Aww. And so, yeah. So I used every tool that I went to Tony Robbins. I haven't done a Tony Robbins things in years and, things like that. So all the tools of leadership that I knew to step into. I have a contract. I stepped into that. I am a confident, powerful, loving leader. And Michael Strassner, one of our mentors, he always talks about, when you get into situations like that, you say your contract, you embody each of those ways of being, and then in connecting with them, and then you ask yourself, what would a confident, powerful, loving leader do? Well, she wouldn't lay in bed and panic.
And panic about it.
So I'm like, okay, if I were confident, I'd be like, well, and I ran from there.
Oh, well, congratulations. That is amazing, Rima. Like, I really want to acknowledge you. You lived the work. That is my experience of you, is you live the work.
Thank you. I received that.
Yes. And so I want to quickly go through a couple of tools in our toolbox, and like Rima, boom, you use all of them, I feel like. But on page 13, there's a little list, and it's one being intention. Like, there's different studies, but one that I saw was like 95% of our thoughts and stuff, and that includes our choices, our daily choices, is like unconscious. Like, so we are making choices in our life and we're not even realizing it because we're just on autopilot. So we get to be intentional, and we really get to be intentional about what it is that we want to create. What's the result we want from the choices that we make? Another one, mindfulness and self-reflection, really getting to know ourselves, really knowing, like Nancy said, what's our values? What is it that we are standing for? Like, what is our red line? Intuition, following your gut. Like, I'll tell you this, I've learned the hard way that I get to follow my gut, that it tells the truth. If you feel that something isn't right, then chances are it's not right. So we get to really follow our gut. Developing mechanisms, stress management techniques, journaling, meditation, yoga, going for a run, whatever it is that's sort of like PB&J. I feel like I need to write PB&J on this list. Like, whatever it is that's going to help us to just take a pause so that we can make better informed, empowered choices. Like, just pause. So whatever it is, challenging our limiting beliefs and our past traumas, like really, looking at them and going like, why do I? Like, seriously, if anyone who knows Rima, like, if you for 1 second believe that you are not a powerful badass, Rima, you are probably one of the most badass people I know, very powerful. So we get to challenge our limiting beliefs because they are getting in the way of us making empowered decisions. Stepping out of our comfort zone. We get to be willing, like Lorna, I always hear her in my voice. They get to be willing, We get to be willing. We get to be willing to get uncomfortable. We get to be willing to try something new. An important one for me, going on to page 14. Is building a support system. Like, that is really, like, I am so grateful. Like, seriously, like most of this room, I mean, Shelley and Sharon, like I'll tell you, do I have time for this story? Like, I was sitting here going, shall I put my name down on this list to do this workshop? And Sharon was going, yes, have you put your name down? And so I went to October and I'm like, yes, I'll put my name down here by October. And Sharon goes, what's the next available date? So I was like, hold it, fucking Sharon made me do this. That's me choosing to be victim, but I love you. And I know that no matter what, and then Rima and Tina and Ashley, like, seriously, I know that I'm supported, and that is so powerful. Like, whenever you're making a choice and you're uncertain, those people in your life, having the right people in your life who's gonna be graceful and empathetic, and they're also gonna kick your ass if they know you're not being your true self, your true powerful self. It's invaluable. It is absolutely invaluable. Being willing to fail, being willing to get messy, being willing to make the wrong choice. That's how we learn. Nelson Mandela has another quote. It's something along the lines of, I never fail, I only learn, or something like that. And I win or I learn, something like that. Don't quote. I'll have a look. But, like, this is how we learn, by failure. And then the last one is practice. Making choices is a skill. And the only way we are going to master the art of choosing is by practicing to make choices, practicing to make powerful choices, and being willing to get it wrong. Tina, I'm sorry. I know I went a couple of minutes over my time, but yes. So that is
nope.
That is just about it for me. You know, if you take anything away today, it's like, you can be so powerful if you're willing, if you choose it. If you choose it, anything is possible. You can make crazy things happen, but you get to choose. Am I going to be a victim? Am I going to be empowered? That's it. That's the simple thing, is like, how am I going to be, victim or powerful? Thank you, Tina. I am complete.
Amazing. Let's give Chantelle a round of applause. Amazing. And that was a true story. So thank you, Sharon. I didn't realize you were on the other end of that.
I love Sharon. She always kicks my ass.
Yeah. So I put it in the chat. Who's your Sharon? That's what I want to end up with. Who's your Sharon? Like, we all get a Sharon that's going to hold us accountable. I know that if I want to get off the hook, like if I'm eating, because, you know, I love sweets and chocolate, and I am committed to not eating them. And so if I'm eating it and I'll ask my husband, should we get it? And he'll always be a yes. I'm like, no, that's not supporting me. That's like, so know who to go to for what support you really need, and all of that. So yeah, Chantelle, thank you so much.
Thank you.
This Burnout to Bliss, you guys, we hold this 2 times a month. My goal, my vision for this is to create safe space 2 times a month for people to come and just, let's have lunch together and talk and jam and talk about, and, you know, it, like, I don't know about you, but I walk away from this feeling better. I feel refreshed. I feel reset. And if that's how you're feeling as well, know that we have a day-long post the link. I'm going to put the link out. Maybe I'm going to do that, but I'm going to put the link out there. Did I go mute? Okay, good. It said I was mute on my computer. So know that that's out there. It's a whole day committed to just that, being able to reset, come together as community, learn new tools, get more support, figure out things, practice, all the stuff. When I was going through my transformation, none of that stuff was available, or it probably was, I just didn't know it. And so I am very committed. We are very committed. There's a lot of us within the Reset and Burnout to Bliss. We're just committed to showing up and being safe space for all of us to grow together. It's really that simple. So I honor every one of you for being here. Thank you so much for being a part of it. And I hope to see you back next time. And more importantly, I hope to see you at the June 9th online reset. It's going to be a whole day long. We've got sound baths. We've got all the stuff that happens during that full day. Rima gives us her beautiful magic meditation. All the stuff happens on those days. So I hope to see you guys at the reset as well. And at next Burnout. I don't have the date. Does anybody have that date handy? When the next Burnout
May
to Bliss
20th?
is?
No, it's for the next one of these.
25th.
Yeah.
24th.
The 25th. Okay.
Yep, that's me. Courageous self-care.
Yes, I should have known that, Rima, and I didn't. So Rima is with us next time for Courageous Self-Care. And so, like, if there's anybody you want to hear about self-care from, it's Rima. It's amazing. So we will see you all there the next time, and we'll see you at Reset. Sound good? All right. Love you all.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.